Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this week's edition of the Puccio Reed podcast. As always, I am Braden Reed, joined today, but as always, by Joe Puccio. Joe, how are you doing today?
Dude, I'm feeling great. Huge Cuse Duke game tonight, so I'm getting pumped up about that. But yeah, the NFL draft's right around the corner. I'm really excited.
Absolutely, is an exciting time of the year as the offseason gets started and the draft kind of rolls closer and closer. So it is mock draft Monday. I don't know when this video will go out, but we're recording it on Monday, so the idea is there. Um, yeah, Joe and I will be each making alternating picks. So Joe will start with one, I'll start two, Joe will go with three, and so forward as we will do the entirety of the first round, pretty much just through through the first round, the first 32 picks. All the picks are set in stone at this point post Super Bowl. Some teams have made some moves. We'll talk about those as we get to those teams. But teams look different than they did when their team were done with their games, whether that was a playoff loss, regular season. They didn't make the playoffs, but teams have been shaken up already. And we'll talk about all of that today. And as always, follow us on social media. It is at Pooch and Repod on Instagram and Twitter. All of our sports takes, good or bad, those will be there. So let's get right in. Mostly bad. Some good ones every now and then. But let's get right into the video.
Okay, so since you clicked on this video, you obviously know who's going first overall. I really don't need to discuss why I am picking this player to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's Trevor Lawrence, best player in the draft. You want to compare him to Luck? You want to compare him to Elway? Go for it. I mean, he is up there with some of the best quarterback prospects ever enter the draft. And hopefully he pans out for the Jaguars because they certainly need him. So Trevor Lawrence will be paired up with Urban Meyer down there in Florida, and should be fun to watch the AFC South this year because a lot of teams are changing it up.
Absolutely. The Jets at 2, reports coming out today that they're going to evaluate all their options at quarterback leading up. So what they're going to decide to do with Sam Darnold remains to be seen. That could take a good chunk of time. But I think once they look at all these guys, once they look at Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, even a guy like Trey Lance, they're going to decide the quarterback's the way to go. New head coach, Joe Douglas, their GM, they're going to want their new guy. And I think that guy's Zach Wilson. I think he offers you the most upside at quarterback right now. The more Mahomes, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I like the nickname a lot. He's a playmaker.
Shout out Boomer Bust.
I've watched some of his games against UCF. He's looked incredible. He just makes plays with the football. He can zip that thing too. And you could make a case for Penei Sewell, maybe a wide receiver. I just think it's too high. Get your face of the franchise here.
So I think that at one of these points, we're going to do a mock draft with trades because I cannot picture Miami picking here at 3, whether they decide to trade for Deshaun Watson or they decide to trade back for a team that's quarterback hungry. I think that that's the reasonable move for the Dolphins. But in this scenario, we're just going to draft. And so it's between two guys for me. It's Devontae Smith and Penei Sewell. You want to protect Tua or do you want to give him a really good target on the outside? And I think that Miami is one big target away from making a serious push in the AFC East. I know it pains me to say that, but the Dolphins were not far behind the Bills this year. They were one win away from getting to the playoffs. Shout out Bills for beating him. But I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. He was a great target for Tua over there at Alabama. Heisman Trophy winner. Obviously, I think that there are some wide receivers better than him. Pro Football Network says there are 2 better than him. I only think there's one.
I do as well.
No, I disagree wholeheartedly. But Jamar Chase, he's the best receiver available. But I think that scheme-wise, fit-wise, and based off what he did last year, I think that the Dolphins are going to want to bring in an Alabama receiver, and the best one available, in my opinion, is Devontae Smith. So there you go, Miami. There's another weapon for Big Tua.
A quick little storyline that I saw on Devontae Smith today is that he actually preferred Mac Jones over Tua.
Wow.
I don't know if that was the season before this one when they were trying to decide between the two or what, but I saw something along the lines of he likes Mac Jones more. So be an interesting storyline to follow as the draft approaches.
Better watch his mouth because he might not make as much money saying that, but let's keep going here.
Falcons here at 4. This could be another trade down spot. Matt Ryan, I was looking at his contract today. They're not going to be able to move off of that for 2 years. The dead cap is going to be huge. So I think they look to trade down and get a offensive tackle, maybe Kyle Pitts, just a position player to help Matt Ryan out. But this is a mock draft with no trades. So I think this is a spot to go quarterback, draft your successor. Even if he has to sit behind Matt Ryan for a year or two, a season and a half, however long it is, I think you need to get the guy here. You don't pick top 5 very often. And I think this is a great spot for Justin Fields to go. There's been some knocks on him that he can't scan the field or whatever. I'm so sick and tired of hearing that. You have Julio Jones, you have Calvin Ridley. Throws are going to be open to make, and Fields can make them. He showed it in the college football playoff. He has a cannon for an arm, can push the ball down the field. And I think learning behind Matt Ryan for a year or two will help him with that so-called trouble reading the field and all of those pro things that quarterbacks need. But this is a great fit for Atlanta.
I'm back with two possible draftees here for the Bengals. I think that Bengal fans were hoping to get the second overall pick throughout the year so they could get Penei Sewell. Now they're picking here at 5 and Sewell's still on the board. But you have Joe Burrow's college receiver also on the board. And I think that if any other player was available, they'd go Penei Sewell. But even with Chase, I think they might go Sewell. This is such a tough pick because
It is.
You know the Bengals need offensive line. Everyone knows. But I'm a fun guy. I don't like drafting offensive line. I mean, they are so valuable. Don't get me wrong. But I love Joey football. I think he is going to be a stud. I might have to get that Color Rush Burrow jersey because like that thing
Those
is
are
just,
drippy.
oh my God, they're beautiful. Man, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase, give me it, bro. I mean, he is so good. Everyone forgot how good he was because he sat out last year, but he was the main reason why Joe Burrow was setting all those records and won the Heisman Trophy. I think this is a once in a lifetime chance. I mean, so is Sewell. I mean, like you can't go wrong here. But I'm a fun guy. I'm going to pick a receiver because I like skill positions. So Jamar Chase at 5. The Bengals pass up on a possible franchise offensive lineman.
You killed me with that. I wanted him so bad at 6, and I will continue to want him so bad until
If that
draft
happens,
time.
if that happens, I am seeing Braden just die.
Yeah, I will not be happy. But there's a lot of talent still left on the board, and these 3 guys right at the top of the board, I would all be happy with. Sewell, I don't think he'll make it here, but if he did, I'd be thrilled with it. I love Jalen Waddle. I have him ranked over Devontae Smith. You can at me in the comments if you want. I don't care.
Wow.
And Kyle Pitts, I love too. He's not a tight end at all. He's more of a wide receiver, but he can also block. So this is a difficult one. I really hope this team doesn't consider quarterback because I want to give Jalen Hurts a chance. Wow. I have to be a fun guy too. And
Yes.
so it's going to be down between Jalen Waddle and Kyle Pitts, but it's just about what this team needs more right now. And I think they need a separator. Kyle Pitts is awesome. He can make any catch on the field, but they need a guy who can consistently get open, and that's Jalen Waddle. A guy can run, speed kills, especially NFL, and Jalen Waddle has it. I am fully expecting him to make a full recovery from that ankle injury and regain that speed. I hope he does, but he can also go up and get the football. He does a lot of things well, and he's the number 2 wide receiver on my board, and I'd be thrilled with him for the Eagles at 6.
All right. After much deliberation, I think I've come to a conclusion. It's a stretch. Just hold on one second. Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Very interesting press conference. Seems like a very aggressive coach. He's going to whip these guys into shape. Who is a prospect that a lot of people are saying needs a character change or needs to change some of his actions off the field in order to be a top prospect? I'm not going to get into that conversation because I honestly think it's a bogus conversation because Micah Parsons is a top 5 player in this draft. And because his off the field stuff, everyone has him late in the first round. I think that out of all the teams that are going to try and get Micah Parsons to fix that off-field stuff, it's going to be Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They need help on defense. They really do. Obviously, their offense wasn't great last year, but maybe with the new quarterback, things will change for the Lions. So I'm going to go with Micah Parsons here. I know that would be quite the reach, I would say, for the Lions, but I think that with the players that are on the board here offensively, doesn't really make sense. You have to draft defense here. No corner. Edge, I wouldn't pick any edge rusher over Micah Parsons or any of the linebackers. I would say I do like Owusu Koromoa. So I'm going to go Parsons here at 7 and make this draft just a complete mess.
Yeah, you have fun with Micah Parsons in Detroit. Carolina Panthers are going to run this pick to the board if he's available here, and that's Trey Lance.
Yep.
Teddy Two Gloves is not the future of that quarterback position.
Pain.
I think Lance will end up taking. I love Teddy Two Gloves. It's not him. I think Lance ends up taking over this position a few games into the season, and with what Joe Brady did with that offense last year, Lance is going to have a lot of success. He really revitalized all those guys. Curtis Samuel had his career best year. They were missing Christian McCaffrey, and they still won They didn't win a decent number of games, but they had some success. Their offense looked okay. So Trey Lance is going to have these weapons. Brady is going to be able to steam some guys open and make the playbook a lot easier on him. Trey Lance to Carolina.
Great pick. Fantastic pick.
Thank you. I
Denver here
appreciate
at 9. This is a tough pick, I will say. I mean, Denver needs help on defense. That's a fact. You could draft Penei Sewell here, but who is he protecting? I mean, Locke, I don't know about Drew Locke. I love the guy. I love the personality. I don't think he's the quarterback. So let's worry about quarterback in the future, and let's draft the best defensive back in this draft. Not Caleb Farley. It's Patrick Surtain. He's just
Agreed.
electric. He was fantastic. I think he'll fit right in with that defensive or that secondary over there in Denver. They just lost AJ Bouye, so there is a hole that needs to be filled, and Patrick Surtain would just be perfect for the Denver Broncos.
The Dallas Cowboys here at 10. God damn it, I hate them, but I have to make the best pick for them here. And Jerry Jones, if I've learned anything from his drafting over the course of the past few years, it's best player available. Did they need CeeDee Lamb last year? Absolutely not. Did they take him? Yup. It worked out.
And he turned out to be a stud, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah, he is a stud.
Yeah.
And I liked the pick at the time. It killed me because I wanted the Eagles to get him, regardless. Penei Sewell is still the best player on the board here. That's who they're going to pick if he's available at this spot. Their offensive line has been in shambles for the past few years. Tyron Smith hasn't been able to stay healthy. Zach Martin, one of the best guards in football, but he's getting up there in age. And Sewell is, like we've been saying this entire video, franchise left tackle potential. And I think if you can grab him there, solidify that position for the next 10, 15 years, you can't put a value on that. So Sewell there at 10.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people that have Penei Sewell going 10, but hey, Pooch and Reed pod. We got it.
You heard
Number
it here
11.
first.
Number 11 here with the G-Men. The NFC East is very interesting, as Braden obviously knows. You don't really need to solidify any defensive spot right now, if that makes any sense. You know, the Eagles are still figuring out their quarterback. Washington's figuring out their quarterback. No one knows what Dak's doing right now. So it's like, I think if you're the New York Giants with a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who is still developing, not a lot of people are high on him, but he is the man for the job. You need to get him weapons on the outside. And we've mentioned it earlier. Kyle Pitts can play tight end. He can play receiver. He's just a freak of nature. And man, would he look good in a Giants uniform. I think that the G-Men would go after him, get another weapon on the outside for Daniel Jones. And when you start utilizing that play action with Saquon Barkley, Pitts is going to be that number one receiver. And most of the time he will be open. So I think that the Giants are going to make it a little risky. I think there are probably some safer defensive picks they could have. And obviously the Giants pride themselves in edge rushers and linebackers. But I think that Kyle Pitts would be a nice pick here for the Giants. And I'd be really happy for Dave Gettleman and some of my Giants friends back home if they got Kyle Pitts.
49ers here at 12. And there's two players on this board right now that I would be completely fine with the 49ers taking. I think their front office would be as well. And that's Rashawn Slater or Caleb Farley. That secondary is getting older. I don't think Sherman's coming back. I think Jason Verrett's getting older too. So you could completely justify taking Farley. And the same goes for that offensive line. Trent Williams getting older. Rashawn Slater could come in and offer that tackle or guard flexibility. But I think Caleb Farley is going to be the pick here. I see a lot of people ranking him over Patrick Surtain. I don't see it. He's an athletic freak and he might have a higher ceiling, but technically Surtain's a world ahead of him right now. But Farley can come in, start day one, and depending on how he develops, could easily become a top 10 corner in this league, I think. So the 49ers could be very happy with this pick.
If we were to do a live look into the Chargers war room right now, they are dancing and celebrating because, wow, they just got Rashawn Slater at 13. There is your tackle, your guard, your whoever you want to block Justin Herbert. What was it? The Pepsi Zero Sugar Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think I got that right. Rashawn Slater is the man. I think that we could have an entire show on him. He's perfect. And I think that Christian Darrisaw would be good for the Chargers. I think that's their backup plan. But if Rashawn Slater is available, that draft card is getting sent in within the first 30 seconds that they are on the clock. So congratulations, LA, Rashawn Slater.
Congrats to you, Joe, for your first easy pick since Trevor Lawrence. Here at 14, the Vikings. I think this has to be defense. Their offense was really good last year. Kirk Cousins, I think, has a few years left in the tank. Justin Jefferson, as much as I hate to say it, was incredible. So I think this has to be defense. And I don't think it's edge. I think Daniil Hunter coming back gives you a really good presence off the edge. I love him. Top 5 edge rusher in football. I think you go off the ball linebacker. Best one still on the board here is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I love this guy. He's a close second to Micah Parsons, in my opinion. He killed Syracuse this year. You hear a lot about sideline to sideline football. nowadays, and that's what this guy brings. An absolute speedster, can make any play on the field with relative ease, and I think the Vikings are thrilled to get a guy like that into their defense.
All right, Patriots at 15. If I could give them the worst player, I would. Look, Patriots need a lot. They need to solve their quarterback issue. They don't have any weapons on the outside. Their defense had a lot of opt-outs, and their fans suck. They can't do anything about the last thing, but I think that New England, with the players that are available here, it's got to be a defensive pick. Rashad Bateman at wideout could be an option, but out of all these guys, no. Rashad Bateman's not going ahead of any of them. And I'm going to stick to my guns here on the number 1. No, I'm not. Am I? Yeah, I am.
I don't know where you're going with it.
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Number 1 edge rusher in the draft is Azeez Ojulari. He's going to go to the New England Patriots here. He is a stud, very versatile, very athletic, and I'd be scared if I saw Azeez Ojulari on the other side. I can't say his name, which sucks because I can't say his name, but I just stumble a little bit. But he can track down Tua. He can track down Zach Wilson. Won't track down Josh Allen, but I think that Ojulari is the best edge rusher in this draft class. And New England is going to be really happy to pick him over the 2 guys up here that I don't really know that well.
Cardinals here at 16. I think this is a pretty easy pick with a question mark surrounding Patrick Peterson, whether or not he'll be on the roster next year. I think J.C. Horn is the pick. Byron Murphy's good. I think they got him in the top of the 2nd round a few years ago. He's good, but I think J.C. Horn offers you a bit more in man-to-man coverage, improves that secondary immediately. And like I said, with Peterson, not sure if he's coming back next season. This gives you an upgrade there.
I'll take Kwity Paye here for the Raiders.
Freaking easy.
Yeah, pretty easy pick here. Kwity Paye is very good. He's just my edge rusher number 2. I think that he fits the Raiders defense. They obviously need some help over there with the Chiefs still running that division, and with the Chargers still working their way up with a new offense. I think that Kwity Paye would be very dangerous. Look on the other side of the ball. And I think that's a pretty easy pick there for Las Vegas.
Dolphins here at 18. They went Devontae Smith at 3, and they're back on the clock now. And they took an offensive lineman around this range. I think it was 21 last year. And I think that's the route that they go again. You got to continue to protect. You could go defense here, but that's kind of what carried them this past season. I think it'll continue to do that. But offensive line, best one on the board right now is Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yes. Yes.
I think if you take a Darisaw or a Cosme, it might be a better pure tackle, but I think Vera Tucker offers you a bit more flexibility. Just with offensive line, you need flexibility there. Austin Jackson, I believe, was their pick last season. He's a tackle. Tucker can come in and play guard or tackle. Continue to protect Tua.
Good freaking pick. All right, here,
Thank
Washington. I'm aboard the Taylor Heineke train.
We endorsed Taylor Heineke here.
Yes, we did. So we're not going quarterback here for obvious reasons. But I think that Taylor franchise Heineke is going to need some protection up front. And thank you for drafting Vera Tucker up here. And I think that Washington would be pretty happy. Wait, hold on. Imagine Chase Young and Greg Rousseau together. Ew. No, I've said this entire time, can't justify taking same position 2 years in a row. So we're just going to take Darisaw and move on. Fantastic offensive tackle. We were watching some of his highlights. He's just a freak, and a lot of people have him as the third offensive lineman over Vera Tucker. We don't. So he's going to go over there to Washington, and I think that Taylor Heineke or Alex Smith or Cam Newton, possibly,
whomever it may be,
would be very happy to have a young offensive lineman guarding their blind side.
Bears here at 20, and I think Allen Robinson is hitting the road. At least I hope he does. Super talented player, and just has been sitting on crappy teams his entire career in Jacksonville and then Chicago. There's questions about what they'll do with quarterback next season, but I think this is a wide receiver spot. And like I just mentioned, Allen Robinson, you get pretty much his carbon copy in Rashad Bateman. They're very similar players, both good separators, good route runners, just great technically. And for whoever is at quarterback next season in Chicago, Rashad Bateman gives you a very solid option.
Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts. I know, dude. It feels wrong for me to say.
I don't like it.
The Colts are going to be dangerous next year. I know that the national narrative about Wentz has changed now since he's joined the Colts, but I think that the Colts were a fantastic team last year, within a touchdown of beating Buffalo. And with the retirement of Anthony Costanzo, there's a hole on the offensive line. And hey, look, it's Sam Cosmi. We're going to take him for the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to block Wentz, put him alongside of Quentin Nelson. They still have some good receivers on the outside. Are the Indianapolis Colts AFC South champions next year? That is a discussion to be had. Sam Cosmi definitely secures that offensive line and makes that possibility of the Colts winning the division more real, more realistic.
Titans here at 22, and they need help on the defensive line. So I think it's going to be an edge rusher here. I believe they're a 3-4 defense. They signed Jadeveon Clowney last season, but that didn't really work out. So you need a guy with flexibility off the edge, a guy that can play in space a little bit, and a guy who can rush the passer. But I think I would like a down lineman more here. So with that in mind, I'm going to take Gregory Rousseau. Absolutely enormous. 6'6", I believe, 6'5", huge dude. So athletically gifted, but just not there quite yet technically. But he's so big. He played 4-3 in Miami, and they had him inside and outside. So the 3-4 is going to fit perfectly on the end. And if they can develop him, get him more refined, work on his pass rush moves, with all the athletic capability that he has, he's going to be a monster. So Gregory Rousseau to Tennessee.
Jets, you're going to reach here. You're going to get a wide receiver for Zach Wilson. I don't know who it's going to be just yet, but you are taking one. Do not take Barmore. Please do not take Barmore. Do not take a running back. Don't take any of these guys, because you need to create a brand new football team and a brand new identity. So let's just get Zach Wilson a target. Now, we got some pretty good players here. I think I'm going to look at the top 5 receivers.
Not
that
Tylan
could
Wallace?
possibly. What was that?
Not Tylan Wallace?
Nah, I don't think he's a first rounder. Shout out Boomer Bust. I heavily disagree with that take. Sorry, Max. So Terrence Marshall is a very good receiver. I like Kadarius Toney as well. I think these guys are more prospects or products, I should say, of the quarterbacks that they had. Give me Rondale Moore. Give me Rondale Moore in a New York Jets jersey. I really like what he has to bring to the table. The Jets don't really have receivers. Alex, please tell me that Braxton Berrios is your number 1 receiver, and I will laugh in your face. So Rondale Moore on the outside. The Jets just need to make some big baller plays. What's the saying that big time? Hold on. I'm going to
Big
get
time
there.
players make big time.
Yes. So just,
There you
yeah,
go.
take that. So I think that the Jets are going to say no to the Alabama and Clemson plus Syracuse powerhouse prospects right here. And they're going to go with Rondale Moore.
Steelers here at 24. I think you could absolutely consider quarterback at the spot, and I'm very tempted to give them Mac Jones, but I cannot. I cannot justify it.
Oh,
I think this needs to be offensive line with Alejandro Villanueva likely headed out the door, one of their tackles. I think you need to replace him. Even if Big Ben is running on fumes, you just need to continue to protect him and maybe figure out that in the second round or in the first round next year, whatever it may be. But offensive line is a need for this team. I think Alex Leatherwood is a good option there. He was on Mac Jones' offensive line, so there's that. There's that connection.
it's pretty much the same thing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, close enough. Alex Leatherwood to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right. I'm kind of ticked off that you took Leatherwood there, because I really wanted the Jaguars to get him and protect Trevor Lawrence. Obviously the Lawrence ETN connection is something that has been getting into my brain. I want to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I can only be a fun guy for so many picks. that I'm just going to pick the best player available, Christian Barmore. I think that he'd be a defensive stud for the Jaguars. Will they be able to keep him after his rookie deal? Don't know. But I think that Barmore for the next 3 or 4 years for them will be very solid. It's not like it's a position of need, but you can never have enough defensive tackles. So the Jags, they're going to take Lawrence and Barmore in the first round and pack things up and look to the next day.
Cleveland Browns here at 26. Their offense was very good this past season. Their defensive line continues to be very good, but that back seven kind of needs some work. And I think the best way to address that right now is Zaven Collins. All the way down the board there. That's a bit offensive to the defensive player of the year in college football. He's super versatile. Nick Bolton might offer you a little more as a thumper up the middle, but Zaven Collins can play in space, can cover, and can get after the quarterback and the running back. So I think the Browns love this pick. A versatile player on defense, never a bad thing.
All right, Baltimore. They drafted a running back last year, J.K. Dobbins. Pretty good pick. They got rid of Mark Ingram for Dobbins, so I'd say that works out pretty well for them. They need help on the defensive line. They just did not pressure the quarterback enough in the postseason. Josh Allen was kind of free to do whatever he wanted back there, and when you cannot contain Josh Allen, it's pretty dangerous. The Chiefs contained him, and they won. So I think that the Ravens are going to make a pick that solves some of their defensive line struggles, and that's Joseph Osai. He's a fantastic edge rusher. All the edge rushers up here are very even, except for the obvious outlier in Azeez Ojulari. So we'll have the Ravens take Osai here. That'd be a great pick for them. Pair him up with Patrick Queen. That's a pretty good starting defensive line and linebacker combination.
So the Saints here at 28. Mac Jones flashed across my brain for a second, and then I remember Jameis Winston needs a shot in someone other than Bruce Arians' system.
Play Jimmy.
So I think this is a linebacker pick here. I think, what's his name? I want to say it's Quan Alexander. Is he on the Saints?
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe. I hate to do this to you. I know you want big boy Nick Bolton over there, but they are so deep in cap hell. Quan Alexander, I believe that's who I'm thinking of. If not, I apologize, but he's likely going to be a cap casualty this offseason. I think you have to replace him with Nick Bolton. I know, Joe, it kills you. I hate to do it to you, but I have to. But it's the best player for the Saints right now. A thumper up the middle, has ability to play in space. Zaven Collins is a bit better at it, but Nick Bolton offers you a lot in the box, and the Saints are happy with that pick. Before you start, I have a proposition to make.
Okay.
Do you want to swap 29 and 30? Because I really want to take one player for the Green Bay Packers here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, excellent. So Braden Reed has traded the 29th pick, Braden Reed has traded the 30th pick to Joe Puccio for the 29th pick and a bag of Lay's.
And 5 meal swipes.
Yes, and 5 swoops. The Green Bay Packers now on the clock. You have to get Aaron Rodgers some help.
Yes.
So the obvious line of thinking here is Kadarius Toney or a wide receiver. But
you're not a Toney.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's a wide receiver. I think Aaron Jones is hitting free agency, and I think there's a good chance that he leaves.
No.
So in the event that he does, get him a versatile guy, a guy who can run the ball and a guy who can catch the ball, because that's been the narrative for the past 5 years. Aaron Rodgers has no one to throw to except for Devontae Adams. Now he does. Travis Etienne, baby.
Oh my God. Okay.
If Aaron Jones re-signs, you don't make that pick. But I'm operating under the assumption that Aaron Jones doesn't, because running backs don't deserve money. I will die on that hill. Don't pay Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. Just get a cheaper option in Travis Etienne, who's probably better. So Travis Etienne alongside Aaron Rodgers. Everyone's complained about how he doesn't have anyone to pass to. Now he does. He's not a wide receiver. He's a running back, but he does both things extremely well. Okay, I am off the soapbox. You can take the Bills here at 30.
And I'm in a Bills jersey, baby. Najee Harris is coming to the Buffalo Bills. We don't have a running game. It's Josh Allen. Straight, not we, they. No rushing game. It's just Josh Allen. When it's just Josh Allen rushing, defenses solve that out pretty quickly. I'm so happy you picked ETN, bro. Oh my God.
I thought you were going to get mad at me for taking ETN. I didn't know you were.
No.
I thought I was going to take Harris.
I am all aboard the Najee Harris to the Bills train. If it's not Nick Bolton, it's going to be Najee Harris. He is a stud running back. I mean, there's just no denying that. And Devin Singletary, I don't really know if he's the long-term back. Zach Moss had a very good rookie season, but I feel like he might go down the same path as Devin Singletary, is maybe not that long-term option. Harris could be. I think you got to give Harris the chance. Man, he would look good in a Bills jersey. But, I think that obviously you're looking at defense for the Bills. They need defensive help, but they'll sign J.J. Watt, so don't even have to worry about that. And yeah, we'll just move on. Najee Harris, I'll buy his jersey. We won't pay him. Don't pay the man. I love you, but don't pay him. And yeah, I think the Bills will be pretty happy to get themselves a new running back for Josh Allen to play with back there.
You're back on the clock here for 31 because we traded those 2 picks. So you're
Yes,
back
I
up
am.
again with the Chiefs.
I am. So Kansas City. Shoot, they just need to get players that are going to replace the guys that are eventually going to be too expensive for them. And, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to give Baby Gronk a first round pick. I'm going to do it.
Wow.
I think that, look, Travis Kelce's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But if you can run a 2 tight end set with Mahomes, you can block both of them. You still have Watkins, Hardman, and Hill on the outside. I can't believe I forgot their names. I don't know. I don't really think Kadarius Toney's the guy. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That works. Maybe run the ball to Pat Freiermuth's side. Throw him the ball. I don't know. The Chiefs are going to do something. They're going to figure out how to utilize this man. But Pat Freiermuth finds his way into the first round here. He's the newest Kansas City Chief.
That is an interesting pick. That is all I have to say
quick
about that.
timeout.
Okay.
How many? You said you played against this kid in high school or prep school?
He was there the year before I started playing. So I was in school, but I hadn't played football at the time.
Ah, okay.
Yes, but I heard horror stories from people who did play.
Yeah, because I think he might have killed you. I would say that.
He 100% would have.
Like
my 160-pound ass, he would have ran me right over. All right. The Buccaneers here at 32. That's a tough one because I was hoping a guy like Joseph Osai, Gregory Rousseau would fall down the board, even Christian Barmore, because his team needs defensive line help. But there's still a guy who can do that. Levi Onwuzurike. That is how it's said. I got that first try. Senior Bowl star. Bumped up his draft stock. Bumped up his draft stock in the Super Bowl. And with the Ndamukong Suh getting up there in age, Shaq Barrett wanting an absolute bag, this team is going to need young, cheap players on the defensive line. And Levi Onwuzurike goes a long way in doing that. And get him alongside Vita Vea, and you will give guys like Patrick Mahomes continued nightmares for years to come. All right, so that will do it for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, be sure to follow us on the Pooch at the Pooch and Reed Pod on Twitter and Instagram. That will be linked in the description, along with our personal profiles. Be sure to follow those as well for even more sports takes, good or bad. That's up to you. That is a big name, Najee Harris. So that will do it for this video. Again, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to keep a lookout for future videos, and we will see you next time.